Will it blend? That is the question.
The blended education plan we've been hearing about, will it work? Well, you can't blend education the same way you could shred it, crush it. There's all sorts of ways of destroying it. But let's have a look at the blending method in particular. Now, the idea is you can take what goes on in school lessons and you can just transfer it online and pupils can do it at home. Right, I was a teacher. Let me tell you what would happen in a maths lesson. So along they come, 20 boys would come into the classroom, and if you're doing something new, you explain it on the board. And while you're doing that, you're interacting with them, asking questions, trying to keep them all interested and all alert. And you're gauging whether they've got it or not. And so you might re-explain a bit. Then eventually you'll get to the stage, you'll say, right, have you got that? Shall we try some questions? And they might say, oh, can you just explain it a bit more? So maybe do another example or two on the board. Then I'd say, right, you ready to go? You try some? Yep, okay. So you set them some questions to do. Right, when you set them some questions, you watch very carefully. There'll be one boy who's just sitting, daydreaming, gazing out the window. So you'll say, right, Peter, come on, get on with you. Oh, right, okay, he gets on. That's fine. Then you'll go around and have a look, and you'll realise that there might be 5 or 6 of them. They're all stuck in the same place. They're stuck at the same point. So you'll say, right, carry on with what you're doing. If you're stuck with question 1, though, I think I can see what the problem is. Just watch on the board. I'll just show you again. So I'll just deal with that particular point. Then they'll hopefully get over that hurdle. Then they'll be away. You then look around. There'll be a couple of boys at the back who just might have started chatting. So you'll just pick those up on that, get them concentrating again. Right, by then, maybe some of the ones who were okay have got a bit further and they've hit a question that they can't do. They're stuck with that one. So they'll put the hand up and they'll say, oh, I'm stuck. And I'll say, oh no, come on, think about it yourself a bit more. You just carry on, see if you can work it out. So they'll carry on with that. Then the ones who couldn't do it, maybe one of them still can't do it. So you're walking around and notice that. So maybe I'll go and pull a chair up and sit with him and go through that a little bit to try and make sure that he's got it. And so it goes on till the end of the lesson. Then maybe at the end of the lesson, the boy who maybe was really struggling with it, I'd have said to the whole class, this is your homework. I'd have gauged the homework according to what had happened in the lesson. I might just say to him, the one who struggled, have you got it now? Yeah, I think I've got that now, that's fine. I say, look, with the homework, if you can just try and do the first half, if the second half's too hard, do some of the earlier questions instead. Then, at least you can get some good practice. Okay, sir, that's great. And off they go. And the SNP seem to believe that you can take this process and do it at home over an iPad. Now, obviously, that's completely impossible. Maybe for some subjects it's a little bit more realistic, but with something like maths, the idea of learning new things online like that is pretty far-fetched. Obviously, you can keep kids busy. I mean, you can set them projects colouring in lovely posters about famous mathematicians, but in terms of actually learning maths, there's really not much that's going to go on, especially since there's a culture now that the idea of actually, for example, trying to have a direct conversation with a pupil electronically on the phone or whatever is seen as, that's obviously tantamount to child abuse. So there's that huge problem as well, that the sort of contact that they need, the culture is completely against it. And the idea that in schools they're going to manage some sort of social distancing, I mean, get serious. I mean, what are the things going to happen at lunchtime, break times, arriving at school, leaving school? I mean, the kids jump all over each other and they're doing all sorts of things. And then, this is summer. I mean, what about in winter? They're going to be inside all day. I mean, whatever are they going to do? So effectively, the blended learning plan, it basically amounts to cancelling school for a year. In terms of exams, as soon as you start interfering with the way things are taught, then the exams lose credibility and basically another year of exams is going to get cancelled. That's a pretty high price to pay for a generation of young people. Now, with the exams, there's a bit of an opportunity here as well, because the system in Scotland, which is just bizarre, is that they sit the external exams in May, then in June, the last half term of the school year, they start studying for next year's course, just before the big holiday when you're going to probably forget it all. With a teacher who might be about to leave, then you might get a different teacher. So you start your course before you've got your exam results from the previous course. I mean, this system is just bizarre. And the reason it's like that is just because it suits the exam board. It gives them a bit longer to mark the exams before their deadline. Now, what's happened this year is they've already basically lost the teaching in June. So the solution is obvious. You change to this system of having the exams in June instead of in May, and then you've got over that problem and next year's exams can function properly. And then from this day forward, Scottish education can be more efficient and then can be geared more towards helping the pupils to learn instead of administrative convenience for the exam boards. Now, if they say, oh, it's really difficult to mark the exams that quickly, well, okay, there's a challenge for you. I'm sure you'll be able to overcome it, because that's what we pay you for. Now, schools will come up with various plans to try and ameliorate the risk of coronavirus. To be honest, I'm not sure how successful they will be. Maybe pupils will be wearing masks. Okay, fair enough. Maybe they'll cancel whole school assemblies. But to be honest, are the kids going to really miss out that much on not having Human Rights Assembly number 97? They can probably manage without that for a year, I would say. So overall, the SNP's plan for blended education would be better titled Shredded Education, but it seems like it's on the back foot, and it's really important that we keep it there.
Marker smoke. Don't sniff this. Yuck.